This is part 2 of the 7-day dry fast experience. The first 1 to 3 days of the dry fast is a transition over to the other side. Now, this is generally known as the first detox crisis. Some people can go through a detox crisis. Some people won't experience much. But as you enter the 4th day of the fast, the true power of the Spirit begins to shine. As the body becomes more stable and the emotions are less chaotic, as well as the mind becoming calm and peaceful. Now, days 4 through 7 in the fast is increasing this state of being. A state of being in peace and harmony as the connection to God begins to grow and you feel everything around you. By the 5th day of the fast, most emotions of anxiety and fear will have decreased to an all-time low as the love begins to fill the heart. Now, in the most extreme cases, there will still be purgings of anxieties and fears from the body even on the 5th and 6th days. By the 7th day, your system is reaching the end of adaptation for a long fast. The long fast begins after the 7th day, where the true healings begin. Everything before that is temporary healings and pain management. I'm going to go into more details about some things. Some of those things include the different versions of people I've experienced over the years that are compatible with me as a person. But as I go through my own ascension process, I've noticed a few people also ascend with me. Many people tend to fall out of my new realities I move into and are replaced by someone who is a representation of that new reality. Sometimes they look similar to the people who fell out of my reality, and sometimes they just don't look like them at all. The people that have stayed for years and continue to ascend with me, I have seen the change in them. As I have become more confident, loving, and overcoming some of the challenges I've had, I've watched them also overcome their own challenges. It is quite remarkable, but I would consider them most compatible with my frequency. The thing I see the most out of them is they aren't afraid to face their challenges, or sometimes they just need a little bit of a nudge and they move into a new experience and they begin learning something new as they continue the growth in their own spiritual evolution. Some of these people I've worked with for 7 years, 10 years, for many years. There's one person I used to work with about 8 years ago named Sam. Now this is a bit of a different situation. As I kept doing regular fasts, I was overcoming my own demons, and in the process, I could see that Sam started to have more issues and more problems on the job. With other co-workers, with management. I even remember Sam being placed on administrative leave. Now, on administrative leave is where you get sent home and you don't come back to work while you're being investigated, and you don't even get paid. This sometimes can last forever. Everyone just finds new jobs because they can't wait forever. When Sam was placed on administrative leave, we all knew he was gone. That was it. You can imagine our shock when 3 weeks later, Sam comes walking through the door. We had never seen anyone come back from administrative leave. Sam looked like he had gained a little weight. Normally he was a smaller, thinner guy. I took this as a sign as he was going downhill. It was just more life problems, like having a midlife crisis. Regardless, things would continue to get worse for Sam as I continued my fasts. Not one fast, but multiple fasts. He was just on edge all the time, and he personally felt like he had a target on his back. One day I saw Sam smoking and I said, "I didn't know you smoke." He told me he had quit for 3 years. I suppose all the stress made him pick up the habit again. Later, Sam decided to get a tattoo that covered his whole back. This is someone who doesn't have tattoos at all, and all of a sudden he decided to get a giant tattoo that covered his whole back. To me, this was just more signs that he was going through a lot, having a midlife crisis, until one day he walked in, turned in his uniform, and quit. The last I heard about Sam was he was working an $8 an hour job, which was a lot less than what we were making at the time, and he had a baby with a much older woman. Now, I didn't get a sense that he was in a much better place, but to me, it was sort of a sense that he was in a much worse place. I used to see Sam sweat a lot, so I knew he dealt with a lot of anxiety. But my experience in that is, as I continued my fast, and I would bring up those emotions in my own self, at that time I dealt with a lot of anger. And those emotions, I would see those emotions, see Sam have to deal with his own emotions. And my personal opinion is that I don't think he was able to deal with those emotions. Not really necessarily deal with them, but they were coming up because those things are going to happen when you fast. It will bring up the emotions in others. When Sam left the first time, he came back in very quickly 3 weeks later. But to me, he was the worst version of himself. I even seen this with another person. Her name is Kate. She had left my reality for about 2 years. Then she came back in as another version of herself. She had gained weight. She had gained at least like 40 pounds. Previously, she was a thinner woman. Now, very close to when she was leaving out of my reality, something interesting happened. Susan, who was our supervisor, was scared of Kate. During our daily meetings, there was an argument between them. And for the first time, Susan had stood up to Kate in front of everyone. That's when I knew it won't be long before Kate was out of my reality. Sure enough, a few weeks later, Kate was gone. And I have many more examples like these too. I've had relationships heal or become more connected, not necessarily friendships, because I've not had a lot of issues with friends or family. I've had bad work relationships that improved, or work relationships that allowed me to create a more positive connection with a coworker that I didn't have before, or I might not have known them very well. And it's interesting because the way that usually happens is my walls come down and I just begin to treat that person like a friend or have more intimate conversations with them, where usually I am the initiator. This has allowed me to get to know some coworkers in a more intimate way that normally I don't spend a lot of time talking to or communicating with some coworkers. As the fast helped me to accelerate my growth, along with improving my lifestyle, I seen very specific people go out of my reality, but also as I returned to old habits or fell back into negative behavior patterns, I watched some of those same people return to my reality, which astonished me, because it was like it was a promise by the universe that it will reflect you. It will reflect your vibration. This has happened to me several times with different people. Now, they may have changed a little worse than before in my eyes, but it's the same person or a different version of that person with the same face. Just like in the example I gave before, Kate went out of my reality for over a year. I never saw Kate again. Then all of a sudden, she showed up out of nowhere. But she had gained a lot of weight before she had completely left my reality. Sometimes when the people come back into my life having gained a lot of weight, I get a sense that they're being humbled in some way. Their egos have been too big, and it's reflecting under the weight or the physical presence, or just carrying a lot of burden in life. Now, when I say that someone has left my reality and another person fills in the space that they left, I'm not saying it's a one-for-one thing, but only that I've shifted realities and this person no longer has a representation of any version of themselves that I'm experiencing in the new reality I've shifted to. But other people do have a representation of themselves in the new reality, which they soon appear to fill in the space that was left vacant, and thus the shift was made. What I've learned is that these people that leave my reality, a healing has happened. An energetic cord between us has been cut, as I've healed the trauma within myself, which also heals the trauma within them. This is the bond that kept us tethered together, and now there's nothing else to heal or to learn, and they go on their own way. So someone else shows up to fill the space, but it's a new learning, a new experience, a new lesson, a new healing. That's what I've been discovering. All of these connections are not noteworthy, but the more significant ones catch my attention. And it doesn't stop there. Once I heal that one, another one comes up. Heal that one, and another one comes up. Heal this one, and another one comes up, along with the people that enter my reality to help facilitate the healing in each other. And it's like, my God, how much healing do I need? Does it ever stop? And the real answer is, it doesn't, because there is an infinite amount of exploration of the self. And a 7-day dry fast can explore a great amount of the self. There will be emotions released. There will be detoxing. There will be uncomfortable symptoms. There will be pain and suffering. There will be sleepless nights. The choice to undertake a 7-day dry fast is the will to pass through them very quickly and relinquish the fear that so often hold us back. Now, I've practiced 7-day soft dry fast as well as 7-day hard dry fast. And the 7-day dry fast is equivalent to a nitro boost. It is almost like I'm on a journey traveling tens of thousands of miles. And the 7-day dry fast is like a nitro boost that accelerates me through time and space. And everything begins to change. The places are going by faster in a blur. And the subject of time begins to disappear as my body goes deeper onto the other side. My emotions become more sensitive as the more aggressive and stronger emotions detach from my body. In those moments, I understand that my connection to the infinite field is growing greater, and my command, my voice, my thoughts, my imagination has greater power in this infinite field that surrounds and permeates everything and everyone. Literally, my ability to have command over my existence is growing, and thus that which I wish to see. Let me know what you think in the comments section, subscribe, share it, and have a good day.